We know Mewtwo. We have always known Mewtwo. It is the one at the end, the strongest creature in the first games, waiting at the bottom of a cave that no trainer can even enter until everything else in the world is finished. It is the clone, the weapon. The face on 100 posters, arms folded, eyes cold. The most powerful thing a child raised on these games could imagine catching. That is the version we were handed. It is also the version that came second. Because before the weapon, there was something else. Smaller. Pink. Barely the size of a house cat and shaped a little like one. A long, thin tail, short arms, eyes too large to belong to anything built for cruelty. The Pokédex does not describe it the way it describes other creatures. It calls it a mirage, something so rare that it is still said to be a mirage by many experts. It says only a handful of people in the entire world have ever seen one. And it says the creature shows itself only to those who are pure of heart. This is Mew. And the most important thing about Mew, for everything that follows, is also the quietest. It does not speak. It cannot tell you what it is. It cannot tell you it is frightened, or that it does not want to be found, or that it would like to go home. It can only be seen, or not seen, and almost no one ever sees it. Somewhere in the jungle of Guyana, on the 5th of July, someone did. The first entry is the gentlest sentence in the entire record. Guyana, South America. A new Pokemon was discovered deep in the jungle. Discovered. Read the word slowly, because the word is doing work. A creature that reveals itself only to the pure of heart was not lying in a clearing, waiting to be catalogued. It was deep. The entry says so itself. Deep in the jungle. In the one place it had chosen to remain unseen. Discovered makes the act sound like weather, like something that merely happened to be there when the writer arrived. It removes the hands from the story. It is the first soft word, and it will not be the last. 5 days pass. The second entry. We christened the newly discovered Pokemon Mew. To christen is to name a thing that belongs to you. In 5 days, the mirage had traveled from something glimpsed to something owned, something with a name assigned to it by the people who had taken it. And here the record does something that the most recent versions of these games will quietly try to undo. In the original Japanese text, there is no we. There is no team, no committee, no shared decision, no comfort of numbers. There is a single pronoun, and it is I. One person. Alone in a jungle at the far edge of the map. Naming a creature that almost no living human has ever seen, and deciding alone what would happen to it next. You do not find these entries in order. They are scattered through the mansion, different floors, different rooms, a building that is already burned to a shell by the time anyone walks through it. The game does not hand you the timeline. You assemble it yourself, page by page, out of the wreckage. The way you would piece back together a torn letter you were never meant to read. And when you finally lay the 4 dates side by side, the first thing that surfaces is not a sentence, it is a gap. July 10th. And then nothing. The third entry is dated the 6th of February. Count the distance. From the naming of Mew to the next word that survived the fire, 7 months pass in total silence. 7 months in which the writer recorded nothing, or recorded things that did not outlast the flames. 7 months alone with a creature that could not speak, inside a building with a basement, doing work that the record will never describe in a single line. And then, after the silence, the softest lie in the whole document. Mew gave birth. We named the newborn Mewtwo. Gave birth, as if it were an ordinary morning, as if the mirage had simply, naturally become two, as if the most secret creature in the world had handed over a child the way any mother might. But there is a second record, and the second record does not reach for gentle words. The Pokédex, the official catalog, the thing the games place in every player's hands as plain fact, describes how Mewtwo came to exist. It does not say born. It says Mewtwo was the result of years of horrific gene splicing and DNA engineering experiments. Years. Not the 7 months of the diary. Years. And not birth. Splicing. Cutting. Resewing the code of a living thing until it became another living thing. 2 records. The same creature. One says a mother gave birth on a single day in February. The other says a weapon was assembled over years out of cut and altered genetic material. They cannot both be the plain truth. And only one of them was written by the hand that held the instruments. So what happened across those 7 months? And the years the Pokédex stretches out around them was not birth. The likeliest reading, the only one that lets both records stand together, is that Mew was never apparent at all. It was a source, an embryo taken, its code tampered with, grown into a shape its own DNA had never intended to make. This is not stated. The mansion never tells us what form Mew was found in, or what was done to it in the dark. It is implied. It is implied by the exact distance between a soft word and a horrific one. And then there is the part that should unsettle anyone reading carefully, because the record did not hold still. Decades after these games first appeared, in their most recent retelling, someone went back into the diary and changed it. The reference to Guyana was deleted, so that no one reading today could ever point to the place the mirage was taken from. And in the English text, the line "Mew gave birth" was removed entirely. In its place, a new sentence: "We obtained a new Pokemon from Mew." Obtained. The way you obtain a sample, the way you obtain a result. Held to the light, even this changes. The dates survived every version of the story. The words did not. Somewhere between the first telling and the last, a hand reached back across 30 years and turned a birth into an acquisition, and quietly erased the place a creature was stolen from. That is what it means to say these entries are wrong. Not that they lie about the days, that every soft word inside them was chosen once, and then, when the soft words were judged not soft enough, chosen again. The 4th entry is the last. It is dated the 1st of September. Mewtwo is far too powerful. We have failed to curb its vicious tendencies. Vicious. Sit inside the word for a moment. It is the writer's word. The same hand that called a theft a discovery, and a violation a birth. And now, at the very end, that hand reaches for vicious, to name the thing it had made. Not frightened, not in pain, not a creature that had spent the entirety of its short existence inside a building it never asked to wake in. Vicious. And the writer was not alone in choosing that kind of word. Every official description of Mewtwo that came afterward reaches for the same register. One Pokédex entry calls it the creature with the most savage heart among Pokémon. Another notes, almost in passing, that its DNA is nearly identical to Mew's, that the gentle mirage and the so-called savage thing are, at the level of the code, very nearly the same animal. The genes did not change, only what was done to them did. And yet the language always lands on the creature, never on the hands. There is one more piece of the record, and it is not written anywhere in the diary. In the most recent version of the mansion, down in the basement, the floor the entries never once mention, there are glass containers, tanks, and the largest of them is described in plain catalog language, with no drama at all, as showing signs of having been beaten on over and over from the inside. From the inside. Let that stay there a moment. Not damaged by an attack, not broken into. Something was sealed inside the largest tank in that basement, and it spent an unrecorded length of time striking the glass, over and over and over, trying to get out. We do not know how long. The record does not date the basement, but we know what was grown in that room, and we know the only word the writer ever found for what it was doing in there. He called it vicious. The mansion burned. Whether the fire was the creature's doing or the building's failure, the record will not say. Only that Mewtwo broke free, and that the place where it was made did not survive the breaking. And then it did the most revealing thing in its entire history. It did not turn on a city. It did not hunt down the people who built it. It crossed the region to the deepest, darkest point of a cave at the very edge of the map, a place no trainer can even step into until they have beaten every other thing the world has to offer. And it went down to the bottom of it, and it stopped, and it stayed. We are taught to read that as a threat, the strongest creature alive, coiled in the dark, waiting. But set it against the record, and it is not a threat at all. A living thing walked to the one place in the entire world where no human could reach it, and it remained there, alone, in the cold, in the dark, for as long as these games have existed. It did not go there because it is vicious. It went there because the last place it was ever wanted was the place that made it. The mansion is gone now. A volcano took what the fire had left. The floors, the basement, the tanks, the scattered pages. And it did so decades ago, between one generation of these games and the next. Cinnabar Island today is mostly ash and shallow water. The record we have spent this time reading no longer exists in the place it was written. It survives only here, in the act of remembering that it was. The pages, the games quietly tell us, appear to have been written by a single man, and the record points toward a name, a kind one. A name attached in the present day to an old man who looks after orphaned Pokemon in a tower built for the dead. But that is another file, for another day. We rank Mewtwo. We call it number 1, the strongest, the prize, the trophy at the bottom of the cave. We descend through that cave with our best and our strongest, and we corner the thing in the dark. And when it finally falls, we fold it into a sphere the size of a fist, and we carry it back up into the light, and we call that a victory. It was made from a cat that could not speak. The cat could not say no, could not say anything at all, and for a long time, the thing they grew from it could not say anything either, until it learned the single sentence the glass had to teach, not in words, in the sound of something striking the same wall again and again from the inside until the wall finally gave way. We have the 4 dates. We have the words they chose and the words they later went back and changed. We do not have the 7 months. We were never meant to. The file stays open.